Alright, hi Triton, hi YouTube. Alex, Caitlin here today, Friday morning. We're capping off the week and we're doing a recap of some of the stuff we worked on in class. The theme this week was attacks by combination. All my JKD friends get to applaud right now. I made that joke earlier in the week. Attacks by combination is a theory in JKD. It's one of the methods of attack where we're not just relying on a single attack to get the job done. We're continually pressing the assault. We're following up with physiologically sound movements as we move down a chain, and we're being successful that way. Great concept, really important in Jiu-Jitsu, and it becomes really the hallmark of the more advanced Jiu-Jitsu practitioner. Even for your lower rank practitioners, work like this is important though because it teaches us body mechanics. Even if we're never chaining attacks together yet at white and blue belt, the fact of the matter is it teaches you balance, it teaches you posture, it teaches you how to move, so it becomes a really critical element of training all the way through your Jiu-Jitsu journey. So we're going to walk through one of our combination strings right now and kind of give you a rundown. So Caitlin's going to go down, I'm going to take mount, and we start in our good mount. You can start this drill kind of what we did last week by running a mount maintenance drill to warm up, right? So she can buck, she can move, and I'm going to go ahead and utilize one of my movement patterns to maintain mount so I can stay mounted. Then what we're going to do is work into the actual technique phase of this. So I'm going to come up, posture up, she's going to start to defend. I need to isolate one of her arms. Very basic isolation technique. I start with top hand goes to her wrist, bottom hand goes to the forearm, and what I'm doing is locking my arm straight. I see a lot of people, especially new people, pushing on this arm. What we do is we lock our skeletal structure straight, and then I don't try and push the wrist over here. I try and drive the wrist directly to the shoulder. This makes it very uncomfortable in her shoulder and her elbow, and she has to accommodate that. Also, I'm not pushing with my muscle. I'm locking my skeletal structure, and I'm letting my body weight drop that arm. Boom. And the arm is down. Now I drop my elbow directly to the side of her neck. Please don't elbow your partner in the face. And we end up with this configuration. From here, this hand comes underneath. And one of those little tidbits we do as we're doing this is we slide this opposite foot out and we grapevine this far leg. This, again, helps us maintain posture. It's an important little detail, gets missed a lot. It's why people get rolled out of this lock quite a bit. So from here, I'm going to take this elbow before I start trying to do my paintbrush and everything. I'm going to bring the elbow down. This tightens the shoulder structure and her musculature and her ligaments and makes her much more susceptible. Now, when I lift the elbow, the submission happens much quicker. From here, when people feel this coming on, a lot of times they're going to drive this arm straight out in an attempt to avoid the bent arm lock. From here, let's talk about the physiology of this. I see a lot of people lose this submission because they try and crank on the arm with their weight back here. As with all things armbar, my hip position is important, and I need to bring my weight from here out over this fulcrum. So this hand is staying underneath her elbow as a fulcrum. This hand follows her wrist out and maintains control. I keep this hand locked in on my bicep. This lets me control her arm. From here, my weight translates out. I get directly over her elbow. My elbows come in. I make this nice and tight. You can even see how that brings her elbow up. From here, I'm just taking my weight forward, and I'm leaning across that fulcrum. I like to keep my head on the low side because if she manages to yank this arm out before this is set, if I'm on the high side of this arm, she has some counters. So as I'm performing this, once I get in here, I like to bring my hand to this side. Now if she yanks this arm up, as people are wont to do, I have some counters from here. I have my attack by combination. I can lift, this hand comes underneath, and I isolate this arm. Base on the hand, I'm grabbing the tricep and I'm bringing this elbow directly over to her far shoulder. Now I'm starting to isolate her arm, but make no mistake, this arm isn't isolated yet. This knee comes from here, slides up, and further traps the shoulder. Now I'm getting good isolation on this. From here, my weight drops directly over my hip and into my heel. This puts all my weight right here, frees the weight up on my other leg. I make a semicircle with my heel, I turn my hip, and I come to an S mount or a Z mount position. Now my weight rotates back in, and I lay my weight onto this quad and into her diaphragm to start taking that airway and start creating that pressure. From here, this hand checks the shoulder so we don't get any escapes, and now with my weight positioned here on my quad, this leg becomes very free and it can do whatever it wants. In this case, it's going to slide over. We go knees tight, heels tight. I have my good hand control, my hip position, so all those fundamentals of the armbar are still in play. Sliding back, extending the arm, I find my thumb, I control the angle of the thumb, and I'm back in for my final arm bar. So, attacks by combination, not just important in jiu-jitsu because we're stringing submissions, also important because they're teaching us body mechanics. And those body mechanics are what's going to come through again and again and again as we move forward in jiu-jitsu. So there's our recap for the week. Get in next week, we're going to move in, we're going to do some more positional work, same kind of concept next week. And guys, stand by, we got some really big news coming here pretty soon, and we'll get that posted for y'all. Thanks.